Howdy, and welcome to Saturday's edition of Today's Bread. Well, this week's topic was the Spirit filled life. Now, we're going to finish this week focusing on nothing can separate us. Our scripture reference is Romans chapter 8, verses 35 through 39. The assurance that God is with us naturally flows into the question Paul posed in Romans verse 35, chapter 8. Christians sometimes feel concerned and even overwhelmed by the trials and temptations of this world. Note that Paul listed an array of adversaries and forces seen and unseen. Verse 35 lists many of those things that are seen, such as distress, tangible needs, and threats from enemies. Paul was sensitive to such feelings, citing Psalm 44, verse 22, as a reminder that suffering has always been a part of life for God's people, verse 36. Adversity should not be unexpected, but neither should it be met with gloom or hopelessness. No form of suffering or opposition can separate us from the love of our powerful Lord. Paul also addressed unseen adversaries in verses 38 and 39. These are powers that exist beyond this natural world, including demonic forces. They transcend time in that they existed long before we were born and will continue to challenge Christians throughout time in this present age. Such powers can seem intimidating in light of our physical limits and vulnerabilities. But we must remain focused on God, the creator of the universe, who loved us enough to send Christ for our salvation. Paul himself alluded to this conviction in stating that he was persuaded or convinced of this promise in verse 38. There is a twofold reason why it is important to recognize this hope. First, spiritual battles are real. We will face them at some point in time. This promise will help us endure with joy. Second, fellow Christians will face battles as well. As we recognize the reality of their struggles, we can reach out in love and understanding to help them endure with joy. Thank you, and I want to invite you to come be a part of God's family. Well, Saturday's prayer focus. Pray that God would raise up voices to boldly stand for truth in media, education, and government. Now, Living the Way will be broadcast at 4:15 p.m. There will either be a live at 5 service or a previously recorded power service with Tommy Fisher broadcast at 5 p.m. Now remember, Jesus is coming back soon. And now here's Saturday's blessing. I bless you with ears to hear the lovely, the uplifting, and the encouraging, and shut out the demeaning and the negative. May the word that you've received give you strength for today.